What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Chronicles of a Virgo podcast. And as usual, I'm your favorite Virgo, Shakita Johnson. And we are back with another pop-up episode. And as you guys see, if you're watching on YouTube, we are with the favorite Virgo bestie, Jessica. What's up, girl?
Hey y'all, happy 2025.
Yeah, so we are in 2025. So this episode, we are going to do a recap of 2024. We're a little late with it, but we here. That's all that matters. Because I feel like we got some good things to get into. And it's so crazy even talking about a recap because I remember sitting here last year doing, well, 2 years ago, I guess, doing the recap of 2023. And my whole mood, life, everything was just like ick. And it's just so different now. So I want to get into that. And we're going to get into Jessica business, maybe. But before, we get into all that, even though this is a pop-up, we have to keep things the same. So I want to start with our lovely mental health check-in. So Jessica, on a scale of 1 to 5, how are you feeling? Are you feeling great? Are you in between? How you vibing today?
I'm good. So in a general sense, I would say a 5. We just literally just getting the year started. So, just walking into the year with positivity, open mind, optimistic. So I'm all right. I'm doing all right.
All right, Jess is fiving it out. Okay, okay. Entering the new year with good vibes and all that good energy. I love to hear it. I still have my Christmas decorations up, as you see. Like, when do you guys take that stuff down? Like, you can tell I don't really decorate like that, but
I never put anything up, so there was nothing to take down. So
I may or may not have overdid it just a little bit, but I was excited. Why not? Like the tree, I'm about to take that down in a few weeks, maybe. But I got all these like, what's it, the garland and my
mm,
seat covers. Can you see it? My seat covers with the little hats on the back. Like I was excited for the holiday. Um, but anyway, I'm rambling. My mental health today, on a scale of 1 to 5, clearly I'm fiving it out as
all
well.
right.
Okay, we are in a fresh new year. We have a fresh new slate. I feel like I ended 2024 in such a wonderful space, mentally, physically, spiritually. So I took that energy and I'm like doubling it in this new year. And yeah, and I hope you guys that are listening have entered this year in a positive way with some good intentions set. Or if you're a person that sets resolutions or goals, you just have something that you're going to work towards this year. Because I'm just feeling so good about 2025. I don't know. I have never felt so like positive entering the new year. Maybe more so like the last few years because I've had so much shit going on in my life that I was just like, okay, I'm going to think positive and claim it. But like things did not pan out how I anticipated them to be. And it wasn't one of those where it did not pan out how I anticipated because it was better. It was kind of like worse. You know what I'm saying? I think I told you the other day I really felt like God was just like, I'm gonna leave her on hold for a little bit. And then he popped back up last year and was like, here I go. Like that is literally how it felt. But needless to say, the purpose of the mental health check is just a time for us to sit, reflect, for a brief moment, take time out of our busy schedule to just check in on ourselves. Whether you're doing it when you listen to a podcast episode or you're doing it when you're taking a shower, sitting at your desk, just make sure you're taking the time to really see how you're really feeling, check in with yourself, especially if you are someone that wears many different roles and you're always looking out for everyone else. This year, we're going to try to focus a little bit more on ourselves, you know, and just really check in, check your inner dialogue, see how you're doing. If something is not right, take the time to really sit with it and try to figure out what it is that's causing you some discomfort or just some uncomfortable feelings. Because I promise you, sitting with it just a little bit, you'll start to feel and understand what you may be going through. Or if you can't figure it out, I'm pretty sure maybe you will be guided in the right direction to someone that may can help you. But needless to say, you're not going through things alone. We're all in this together. So yeah, thanks for doing the mental health check, Jessica.
Of course.
I miss you.
I miss you too.
I miss you. I miss home. I'm not gonna lie. As y'all know, I'm in North Carolina. I'm a little homesick. So I'm a little homesick. I just told Bailey, like, I think I'm going home in a few weeks. And what I'm going home for is very important. But I just want to like love on my people. Like I miss my friends. I talk to my friends every day, talk to my family, but I just like it's these 4.5 months. I have experienced more homesick than what I thought I would, if that makes sense. Like even though Bailey's
I
here,
mean, that's just something you really can't anticipate.
yeah, but I've been getting through. I've been getting through. So that was a part of my 2024. So, like I said, we're going to recap, and I want to piggyback off of the last recap we did of 2023 because it was titled, I think it was like 2023 recap, no more spinning the block. Like, no more. Not to mention, that was like the top episode for on Spotify for my 2024 rap. I was like, seriously? Like, not that all episodes didn't do good because they really did, but that one, I was like, oh my goodness, like what happened? Like, I mean, it was intense, but yes, no more spinning the block. So, did we spin the block last year on anything?
I mean, for me, it's not even that I spent the block. It's just that I just still was on the same block. So I didn't even spend the block. I still was just there. Sometimes sometimes you never leave the block. When you should have left the block an hour ago.
Like, don't
So,
leave that porch. Put your,
so
take your foot off the porch just a little bit.
but I feel like because I think I haven't rewatched the episode, to like refresh myself with exactly what we spoke about. But I do think I remember at least as far as that's concerned, as far as how that connected to my life. I think that was connected to a relationship or whatever. And I don't know, it's just one of those things where some people you just have a deep tie or connection to, but the relationship transforms, through
Mm-hmm.
time. And sometimes that's difficult because sometimes the way that things transform is not the way that you were expecting or what you wanted, per se. But sometimes you really do have to let things just be exactly what they are. Um, and not really stress about it, not put any extra energy other than what's warranted into it. And then things will be exactly what they're supposed to be. We can't
Mm-hmm.
control, we can't force, we can't make something be exactly what we want. Definitely when you're dealing with other people. You may have your agenda, your intention, but it may not match what somebody else has going on for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, I think as far as that particular thing and how I feel now, it's like literally what is,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Hmm. I think that for 2024, I adopted just this concept of it is what it is. Like literally, like, and that's not negating anything that's going on, any feelings that you have, but it's really getting down to the core of can I change what is happening? Like, how much of this is in my control? Right. Because, of course, like we only can control ourselves. Like you said, we unfortunately can't control other people. Right. And a lot of times I feel like for me, a lot of things that I was feeling and may have been experiencing were connected to other people, whether it was a family member, someone at work, love interest, it was always that other person, and that other person dictated my feelings, my mood, like my energy and everything. And until you really sit with that and be like, man, I am really losing my power, giving my control to someone else, and they are becoming the narrator of this situation. It's like, nah, dog, like, nah. Like when in 2023, I was out of everything that I have been through these last few years, more so specifically like the grief and the depression. And in 2023 was the worst I have ever felt in my body, in my mind. Mind y'all, I started 2024 going on a mental health leave from work because I was 2.5 seconds of checking out of like everything. Like I had no care in the world. I couldn't think. I don't know. Like my brain has never felt like that before. It was like horrible. And I used that time off of work to my best ability. And I feel like everything that I did during the time when I was off, of course I rested in it therapy, but everything else, it rewarded me in the end. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, so when it comes down to did I spend a block on anything? And for people that may not have listened that far back to that specific episode, when I used the phrase of no more spinning the block, it did not reference a person because I know that's what a lot of people use it for. Like, oh, we're not spinning the block on this person. It for me referenced no more spinning the block on negative thinking, no more spinning the block on limiting beliefs and depression and things like that you really necessarily can't control all the time, but you have some sense of control over yourself and your emotions, right? So anything that was affecting me personally, that was keeping me down, that I had full control over, um, I was not spinning the block on it. Anything that was keeping me in a box, stagnant, I needed to break flip ups along the way, but I consider those just moments. But the thing with a moment is moments change by the minute, by the hour, by the second, by the day. And that's what happened. I didn't stay in that space. And at the end of the year, New Year's Eve last year, I did um I talked about it on I can't remember if it was that episode, one of them episodes I talked about doing the bingo card because I don't do like the whole boards and stuff. I did the bingo card, something I seen on TikTok. And I recently I recently pulled the bingo card to see what the heck I put because I couldn't remember and how much of those things actually came to pass. All of the big things, which was get a new job, get a new apartment, move out of state. I saved the amount of money that I wanted to save. Um, it was a few other things on there, but the main things all came to pass. And then you do like the 2024 recap, the videos all on social media. And I was telling Jess this the other day because I was so overly joyful but emotional too, because we talked about this last year when it came time to really sit and like you're looking at like all of the memories from the year 2023. It was even though I felt like it was the worst year of my life, I had some good moments. I had a lot of high moments. We did some good things, but 2024 was like, oh my gosh, it was phenomenal. Like I did a lot and I was like, I may not have like traveled internationally, you know what I'm saying? Because we working on that. Nonetheless, like I did a lot of different things. Like people connected to me, family, friends, like everybody did a lot of things. And I was just overly joyful. I was grateful. And then waking up on January the 1st, it hit different for me than it might someone else. Cause before I moved to North Carolina, I was living back at home for like that time. Like a lot of people did not know that. And it wasn't because, oh, I couldn't afford like, affordability. And it was nothing to do with that. But to wake up the first of the year in my own space that I wanted in the state that I wanted to live, that just hit so differently. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like it really happened. It's crazy how you see people talk online, like how fast your life can change for the better. And I always wish that was me. And then my life did change for the better. It might not have to happen overnight, right? But it definitely happened. 2024 was like all about positive change for me.
Well, I mean, that's definitely good. Definitely, since a lot of the stuff that you ended up accomplishing, like I remember at different points of time of us talking about those things, that seeing them come from a thought to being like reality. So I'm definitely proud of you and happy for you. Because I know there probably were moments where not that you didn't ultimately think that things would never happen, but you know what I mean. When something don't happen, maybe in a certain time frame, or maybe if you feel like something is like being pushed back or obstacle, that can be discouraging. You know what I mean? And definitely when you got other stuff going on, it just feels like, damn, when am I get a break? But
Definitely.
you definitely set your goals and your intentions, and like even with like any of the negative or emotional stuff that may have happened this year, that stuff that you talked about, so your viewers should know some of the stuff I'm talking about. It's like, you didn't let that stuff hold you back.
No, I think my biggest like emotional I'm gonna say downfall of 2024 was when my father passed away. And I say that even though my year started off rocky and I was dealing with like depression, some suicidal thoughts, like all of that stuff, I handled it. I was in therapy. I had y'all, I worked through it. When my father passed, I felt like that was the test of fate. Like all of my therapy and everything. Let's see if I really can apply these things. You know, not that I was in grief therapy, but I was working through grief in therapy. I feel like I really stood my ground during that time. Yes, I may have blacked out a little bit and went through like some numb moments, but like I really, I sat in all that. And yeah, I got maybe a little sick during the time, but I really utilized my resources, which were like family and friends and anything else that I would do, prayed about stuff and it was a time. It was a time. And I think going into it, because it was so abrupt and unexpected, I thought that it wasn't going to affect me as much as it did. I was like, okay, like, you know, I can get through this and blah, blah, blah. However, like I did get through it, but at the same time, it affected me more than what I expected. And my therapist was like, yeah, because it's re-triggering your grief. Like you're still grieving the loss of your grandmother, the loss of your grandfather, who are all connected to this, your father. So it's a lot. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. But I hung in there. I got through it and I'm still getting through it, overall, even when I sit and I get on social media and I talk about like dealing with grief and stuff, I'm like, did I say that? Like, I shocked myself. Like 2024 was a shocking year, if I'm being like honest, because I would say things and do things and I'd be like, it's just like a natural thing. Cause the Shakita a couple years ago, it would never be that. You know what I'm saying? But of course she would never be that because I'm not supposed to be the person I was a year or two ago, So it's showing my pure authentic growth in itself. Um that was the hardest. That was the hardest thing or emotional downfall that I dealt with in 2023 and just navigating that. But here we are now.
Well, no. Well, you mean 2024,
Yeah,
but
2024, 2024.
no, but yeah, like I said, obviously I was, there for some of those moments and, kind of, trying to be as supportive as I can. But, 'cause those are things that, you only know what it's like if you're the one experiencing, you know what I mean? Because like not everybody has dealt with that level of loss or like those types of close relationships. So, it's never easy. We all deal with death differently. We all deal with everything a little bit differently, but sometimes it can feel like those types of things are just racking up,
Mhm.
But as you know personally, grief is something that, something that you deal with throughout time, just like any healing process, it's a process, it may hit you in different times, it may pop up at times you don't expect it to and XYZ, but I feel like you've been doing your due diligence and, trying to navigate it and not trying to let it impede other things that you have going on in your life, because life it has to move forward.
Prime example, the holidays. Like, when was the last time you heard me excited about Thanksgiving or Christmas or decorating anything? Like, I listen, if you know me, like the holidays have been second and third nature to me. My celebration has been lived through other people. Like I just have not gave it any thought. Last minute, last year I was thankful that my mom and my baby sis came down for Thanksgiving. So we had Thanksgiving here at my place. Bailey came over. It was fun. We went to see the Christmas lights. Like my mom put my tree up, we decorated, like we went out Black Friday shopping. Like it was fun. Like we had no drama, no bickering, no arguing. It was just pure authentic joy and fun. Did anybody experience any moments of grief and sadness? I'm pretty sure. But I think it was maybe overshadowed a bit by just being in community with one another and everything. You know what I'm saying? Christmas was a little different. Like I dealt with some more feelings on Christmas because our family did not come. It was just me and Bailey. But aside from that, like we went to the movies, we watched the Ravens play, we watched Beyonce, like we did things, I cooked. We still had a good time. Um, I'm pretty sure people felt grief. I felt grief, but I didn't sit in it, and I held myself to that standard of not letting my grief hinder me anymore, because it really was that grief and depression was just who I was becoming. It wasn't no Shakita, like that's literally what I was. And I finally feel like I've broken free from that. I'm not going to say that there are times when it doesn't sneak up on me. I'm human, you know what I'm saying? But I navigate it so much better now. Like I'm so happy because I would never have thought that I would get back in a Christmas spirit. I had a
Mhm.
goddamn Santa hat on. It's somewhere around here. Like I'm like, bro, like I have lived through other people through holidays and even like during the spring and summer and traveling and stuff. Which let's talk about the summer. Let's talk about summer 2024. Like, did you? I know Jess did, but did you do anything? Like, what was the highlight of your summer?
Um, hmm.
Any shows, concerts, festivals? Because
I
you
mean, of
fly.
course, I'm always going to do a concert. That's something, that's just norm for me. So, went through a few concerts throughout the year. Um, Trying to think because things just be going. Last year really was a blur, like for real. And I really reflect on last year. I feel like everything just kind of zoomed by. So it's actually harder for some reason to think of like a lot of specific things that happened because I feel like it just all ran together and here we are now in a whole new year. um, so of course we did the Roots picnic in Philly and that was cool. It was hot as hell.
Gosh, bro.
But
The
it was a
first
good
week of
time.
June at that.
Mhm. That was a good time. We did the Out of This World tour with Missy, Busta, and Sierra. And that was a good time. That was my first time seeing all of those artists. So, and that's kind of my thing in recent years. Like I want to see artists that I haven't seen performed
Mhm.
yet. So like I feel like I was able to cross off a lot of different things as far as like seeing performers for the first time.
That was fun.
Um, where else did I go concert wise? I saw Stevie Wonder. This wasn't the summer, but I
Mhm.
saw Stevie Wonder.
Mhm.
So if anybody knows me, Stevie Wonder is one of my all-time faves. So, you get to a certain point in life, you like, that's probably not gonna happen,
Mhm.
Cause he older, I'm older, we all old. But so I said, let me finally catch him, before I don't get an opportunity to. So that was a wonderful show. And I actually did that one by myself. And I think that's something we probably can talk about too, because I know you've experienced like more recently doing certain things by yourself because it's like you're not always going to have somebody available to do stuff with, but that shouldn't limit the experiences that you have. So
Mhm.
I know you've been getting out there a little bit more by yourself and just enjoying, little moments and stuff. So, but the first concert I went to by myself was actually a couple months before Stevie Wonder. I actually saw Common and Pete Rock
Mhm.
at the Baltimore Soundstage. They had a new album. It's some motorcycles going down the street.
I was about to say, wait a minute.
They had a new album come out that was like really good album, and it's like previous to the Roots picnic, Common came out for that one song. I actually have
Mhm.
never seen Common perform, which is probably a surprise to people who know me because people who know me know I love Common, right?
Mhm.
So I was like, once again, not missing this opportunity. Pete Rock is a legendary producer, and I was like, I gotta see these people. So that actually was the first concert I went to by myself,
Mhm.
and it just kind of set the standard, like me, I love to go to concert with people. You know how I do. I would just simply buy the tickets and then find somebody to go with later.
Yes,
You
we
know,
love it.
I'm very famous for doing that, but it's like it was one of those things where it's like I cannot count on somebody being available, and it's something I really want to do. I'm gonna do it. So I went to
Mhm.
two concerts for the first time by myself this year, and I actually just saw Babyface with my sisters.
Mhm.
So we saw Babyface in December. Once again, a legend and somebody else I've never seen before. So I just crossed like a lot of people off my list.
Yeah, that's and like certain ones that I don't go to. I see. I live through you. I'm like, okay. I know she's gonna get good seats. Okay, I know she ain't gonna be too loud singing in the video. Like, but no, that's amazing. And like, you're definitely one of the pioneer people in my life that have continuously, whether you say it or through your actions, you live it, show me to like, I need to live. Like do things on my own. Whether it's with someone, just get out and do things, do new things. You recently mentioned learning a new skill. You know what I'm saying? So like I appreciate you for having that type of personality and just being that type of person, but also continuing to encourage me to live. Like I'm still partially, of course, I'm here because of God, right? And I fought for my life, but you also have been a person, a pivotal person why I'm still here today. Like this. So I appreciate you. Um Dang, I feel like I did so much stuff last year. Where do we start? I ain't go to that many shows though. Like Roost Picnic was probably like I did the Roost Picnic and like you said, the Missy Elliott thing. Unfortunately, couldn't do Usher. We were like 2.5 seconds from being Usher. But scheduling conflicts and confusion, I'll just say that. I think like out of the both of them, I love the Roots Picnic more. Like, I was in like when I go see celebrities or like concerts, I have this big freaking just like I don't even know, like this blushing moment. I ain't never seen nobody famous before. I think the top person that I saw besides Andre 3000, because I loved his whole set. Like I love that whole I love the ensemble, like what he's doing now for music. I know a lot of people don't like it because they're not used to him doing like the instruments and the mindfulness stuff, but I love it. I remember telling Jess like my toe was hurting, and after we finished sitting through his set, I was like my foot's not hurting anymore.
Man,
But
I just felt sleepy. That
I
that was about to put me down.
the
But it was
only
cool.
reason the only reason why I kind of like a smidget regret that is because by the time he finished, it was time for Lil Wayne, and everybody was like rushing to that part. Thankfully, we had the VIP, so we could go where we could go and still watch. But I'm like, what happened? And I'm like, oh shit! Like it's about to be like Lil Wayne and the Roots about to perform. Um, my highlight of that whole weekend probably was Jill Scott. Even though I haven't seen, no, that was the first time I seen Jill Scott. Jill Scott, and I got introduced to Robert Glass. What's his last name?
Glasper.
Yeah, like, ooh, girl, I be listening to all that stuff, but like everybody was just like phenomenal. The Dream, Redman and Method Man, I can't get enough of them. Like, I don't care how many
You know,
times
that's one of my favorites. My favorite, like anywhere they perform, I will happily go. Because actually, it was like a little the little Charm City Live that happened like at the
Mhm,
end of the summer. They performed at that, so I was like, that was my third
mhm,
time seeing them. Because anything
mhm.
that they do, I love them as a duo. They have great energy.
They are funny. Marsha Ambrosius, me and you seen her before. Like seeing her again, I can never get enough of her. She's funny. She's a good performer. Like that whole thing, but like the cultural side of it. Like I told you, I want to go again
But
this
hold
year.
up, Nas.
Oh my God. Oh, girl. Yes.
And remember, I was supposed to see Nas the year before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't make it up to
To New
New
York.
York, so I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, like and that was another person that I have never
Mm,
seen. So it was like,
mm.
and how
Yeah.
close we were. So we were just like right
Super
there.
cool. Everyone was like, people was like hitting my inbox like, how do y'all always get good seats? I'm like, first of all, we didn't have seats, but it's just a matter of getting to a certain area and staying there. Like,
Exactly.
because it was a lot of people. I didn't expect. I don't know what my expectations was honestly, because that was not the first music festival. Because I've been to Broccoli City, Made in America. So this one was a little different. I definitely would not mind going back this year. Of course my trip will be a little longer now, but like it was so worth it. And like I would love to do more of the cultural things and events that they have throughout the weekend. um but that was probably my highlight. Missy Elliott, remember I said like, oh, the top show I've ever been to was Beyonce. Like Beyonce, that Renaissance experience was top tier, but Missy Elliott, I'm not saying she was better than Beyonce, no, but what they had going on was good. And I'm pretty sure she's planning something else because I seen her post yesterday on Instagram. I already
I mean,
seen,
because it's been so long, since she's been
yeah.
out there. So it's like, maybe she got that health disorder that kind of
Mm-hmm.
kind of been keeping her down. So maybe she got herself regulated, and she just like, making up for lost
ready.
time.
That was the first time I had seen Sierra in a while because I seen her down at Soundstage some years ago. And I was just like, seeing her was just so phenomenal because people were online saying that, oh, she sucked, her set is not good. But it was funny because remember when we got inside, I was like, Jess, I think she's on the stage. They started on time. They
Mhm.
started at 7 o'clock on the dot. We were like, oh my God, they really did start on time. And Busta Rhymes is, I didn't realize how freaking funny he was. Like it was just a, and then they brought out Lil Mo. Like if you're from Baltimore, if you know, you know, like Lil Mo is like a legend for Baltimore. Like I love Lil Mo. So that was good. It was really fun. Um, what else did I do last year? Oh, I seen Tamron Hall. I wasn't like the biggest Tamron Hall fan. However, she put out a new book, so I got to go to a book event she had, and it wasn't really for me about the book, but hearing her speak. And I didn't really like know a lot about her until I went, and I got mad respect for her. Mad respect for her. Met Ernestine Shepherd. Like if you're a Baltimore native, like you know who Ernestine Shepherd is. She has like the oldest bodybuilder in Guinness World Record. She's one of my mom's mentors, one of my mom's closest friends. And out of all the years that they've been close, I had never like every time I'm at events with her, she's bombarded with cameras and people and all that stuff. But I actually got to meet her, got to take pictures and stuff. And yeah, she's such a sweet little soul. So yeah. But the Everest picnic, and you know, I can't not talk about my move. Like like what are we here for? It's like no. Yeah, my move. Like we packed up the U-Haul and I hit the Beltway on August the 4th, I think it was. Because it was the first week, the first Monday in August. And just mentioned, you know, me venturing out doing things on my own. I've always been a person that felt like I needed to do things with people and felt weird about going to like eat on my own, going to bars on my own. And now I'm in a predicament where I know people in North Carolina, but a lot of them are not in Raleigh where I'm at. So if I want to do something, it's like if I don't do it, it's not going to get done, you know? And me and my sister, because she lives like 15 minutes away from me. We have done a lot of things together. We do things, but like she's in her own, living her own life in her own space. I respect that. And I'm not going to like drag her to everything I want to do. We did go to the Raleigh Christmas Day parade, which again was an experience for me because I've always wanted to go to like the Macy's parade in New York. And this is the second largest parade on the East Coast. It was phenomenal. Like we was like front row. We were a little cold, but it was just so good to see all the cultures that they implemented within the parade, especially during the height of like the election and like all that stuff. It was very inclusive. Like I really love that. But moving has definitely put me in a position to not regain my independence, but just to I guess learn a different part of me on my own. Um, Someone recommended, hey, go to the bar by yourself. I went. We'll never do that again. Nah, but no, it's been cool. I don't know what to say about that. Like it's been an adventure. I still have like anxiety doing a lot of stuff by myself. I mean, I do things by myself, don't get it wrong, but like outings, like how Jess went to the concerts and stuff, I have yet to experience the solo.
And like for me, just to speak on it, it's not like it's something that I was just like dying to do. Like it wasn't like the easiest choice. You know what I mean? Even though I decided to do it, and definitely I decided to do it twice, but it was the experience eclipsed my anxiety about it. You know what I mean? Because like obviously I wouldn't go by myself to any and everywhere. Like I mean, Baltimore City. You know what I mean? So still got to be safe. Still got to be like you got some sense.
Period.
um, but like if something is familiar enough, like I know those areas. I know the venues I was going to. You just gotta be smart about what you're doing. So like how your example going to the bar or something like that. Maybe the compromise would be I'll go to a happy hour. You know what I mean? It's a little earlier. It could still be daytime. You may kind of get like the work crowd, but you may not go to the bar by yourself at like 10 o'clock at night. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's like you find those compromises within yourself as far as, accomplishing the goal, but still being able to like feel comfortable. And then like if you once you're ready to branch out and do something a little beyond that, then cool.
Yeah, and don't get it twisted. Like, nothing, nothing bad happened to me. It was just, I don't know. I was having too much fun by myself, which is not a bad thing, and like socializing with the people and like, of course, the bartenders and hostess and all that. But I would love to have shared that with some. I guess having someone there with me. But I was perfectly fine. My friends got videos after the fact. Like, I was good. I just haven't honestly. I haven't had time to really do much of any of that. I've been busy with work and going to the gym. That's another thing. Like, I got back into the gym almost immediately when I came down here. I was determined to find like a park, a track or something, because I wanted to be outside because it be hot. It be hot all the time down here. I don't know. I'm going through a culture shock also with like the weather and just different things experienced in North Carolina, just the southern living. But I was able to find like a nice athletic facility that I can go to the track, and I joined the gym, kind of sort of. Like a fitness program with my job, but I do go to the gym. And if anybody knows me that talked to me like a lot when I before I moved, y'all know that I was determined to be a 5 a.m. gym girly. Like, to the point where like I set my alarm in January of last year to 5 a.m., preparing to wake up at 5 in the morning to be at the gym. So I be in the gym by like 5:45. But the thing is, like, I be doing it. You know what I'm saying? I be doing it. And I'm trying to really continue to push myself away from like focusing on like how much weight I'm losing and different things. I did the 75 soft. That was something else I jumped into coming down here. Had really, really good results from it. But like, I was just talking to my mom and I'm like, I need to find something and just stick with it, like how I used to, instead of like jump into all these different things, because honey, I will jump around. I would jump around. But yeah, like, I don't know, life has just been different. Not in a bad different, it's been really good. But I also needed more social. So I was like, I need to meet people. I'm meeting people now. A lot of people. I'm meeting a lot of people and not doing much because I'm really still like in a shell a little bit, I guess you'll say. But I'm also planning to make time and be more intentional about like not just meeting people, but doing things, like not just scrolling like Eventbrite and Instagram about things that I want to do, but like buying these tickets and just going. And like you said, not necessarily like always waiting for people to be accessible, because someone's not going to always be ready or not going to always be in a position where they can go. But if I can go, why not go?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, like, what else happened last year? Any other highlights for you from 2024?
Um, so my family had their family reunion. So this is my mom's side of the family, and if people aren't aware, because I don't know if we talked about it, but my mom's side of the family is from North Carolina, so I'm actually very familiar with North Carolina. My roots run very deep to the point where like I spent my summers there growing up as a child. My grandparents used to take us down like for like a couple weeks during the summer every year. So I'm pretty much in North Carolina at least once every year, if not more. And now I have more reasons to go. I'm typically not in Raleigh per se, even though my brother lives there.
Hmm.
Um, my family's from the country, but it's like a refuge. You know what I mean? Like I'm not one like I can't see myself not living like near or close to a city, but like this is the country, like quiet. Like you hear nature, you see
Hmm.
the stars. You know what I mean? So like it truly is a refuge from the city life and just like to get away, just connect with the land, connect with my people. Got family that live close by. We got my great grandparents' house that's up the street and stuff like that. So we had our mega family reunion. And I think we had, was it at least 400 people in attendance?
That's amazing.
So, and this is like all the branches coming together. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that was good. Good time. Anytime I get to be around my family, like I said, once again, anybody who know me knows, Shakita can attest to it. I'm very close to my family.
Definitely.
So anytime we have the opportunity to come together and just enjoy each other's company, that's just all I need in a lot of situations. That just gets you right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when it's good vibes. Before I left, my family, we got together on Eastern Shore. My cousins have like a big family cookout. I don't, some call it a family reunion, but it's a big gathering, big family gathering. And it was actually held the weekend that before I left to move. So I went, my baby sis, she came with me. My family was there. I mean, they're right on the shore, so it's facing Kent Island. They took the canoe, not is it the canoes? They took these boats out there in the water. No, I did not go because I don't know how to swim. So I don't want them problems. But it was nice. And we released my grandmother's ashes on the island or whatever, had like a little service ceremony type thing. Very emotional time, of course, but it had to happen at some point. But we just had so much fun. And like you said, when it's like all family coming together, just being so supportive and good vibes, kids was playing around, playing games. It was really fun. And that was just like what I needed at that point because I was leaving literally in 2 days. You know what I'm saying? And Jess mentioned coming to North Carolina. Like Jess and Abby came back to North Carolina for my birthday. We celebrated. Like I was like had a list of things that I wanted to partake in. And out of the list, I think it was maybe like one or two things that we actually didn't do. Cause baby, I am not for the streets no more. Like I felt like the little things that we did, man, tired me out, had some sickness going on a little bit, but it was just fun because I was with my girls. And Jess' brother came out with his friend, his girlfriend, and we always have a good time when we go out. We have a bunch of randomness, almost went to jail. Not really. But no, it was just good times. It was just good times being with family and friends. And me and Bailey also, I don't know how I forgot. Me and Bailey went to Charlotte for a Kamala Harris rally. It was actually her last rally before like the whole election. And that is an experience in the experience. Like it was one thing to watch all the lives on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, when she was going doing interviews and all that stuff, but it was another experience to actually be there witnessing it, and like hearing the stuff that was being said, even though it was some of the same stuff, right? But it's just you're in person and being in the midst like of all these different people that are like, we are all in agreement about some of the same things, And then the election happened and I was depressed. Like a lot of other people were. And I know I talked to Jess about this before about like just navigating life after the election. And I was deep. I was a little too depressed for my own liking. You know what I'm saying? Um, Cutting people off, deleting people off of social media. I feel like it was a very dark time for a lot of people. And one thing Jess told me was, you know, not word verbatim, but she said something on the lines of like we have to learn how to exist in the same world with people that have differences than us, and granted, like we can be cordial and be respectful, but like having these different conversations will help us maybe understand one another a little better. Of course, this is by choice, but since that point, I kind of let a lot of stuff. Oh, I was angry, man. I was angry. Like, how did the election affect you? If it affected you?
Honestly, I can't say there was zero effect, but at the same token, it almost kind of wasn't because when I say nothing is surprising, it's just not. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not about not being optimistic or hopeful or nothing like that. It's about being realistic. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's not that Kamala winning wasn't unrealistic in the general sense. It was, but it was the reality of the whole scenario. You know what I mean? When you really break it down, it's like that just wasn't going to happen. So I guess I never really put all my energy into that possibility per se. Like I guess I would have rather have been pleasantly surprised versus being upset, disappointed, yes, but like not upset because it's like Yeah, this is, once again, it is what it is.
I hate to laugh about that, but like that was the truth. And like you also said something to me in conversation, again, not verbatim, but it was on the lines of I'm not going to prepare for something that didn't even happen yet. And I'm like, you're right. Like a lot of us are of course like we're making preparations, however that may look for you. But I feel like what I was thinking, I was like, okay, do I have to move? Do I have to get another job? Do I got, you know what I'm saying? Like just it was fear taking over at that point. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to prepare for something that didn't happen, that may not happen. Like, and I'm not trying to be like act like this administration coming forward is not should not be taken serious, right? But like to the point of like we were supposed to be doing what we were supposed to be doing, you know, and clearly people didn't keep up to their end of I don't want to say the bargain. People was really playing in our face, put it like that. People was lying and went to the polls and they did what they did, and this is the outcome of it. And I think the funny part now is what's happening on social media and that future president how he's kind of like flipping the script a little bit. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's no space for games and things to really be played when you are playing with the sake of like people's livelihoods and families being potentially ripped apart and just a whole lot of different things. Um so yeah, I really had to like just really just let God step in over me and remove me out of like that because I was so sucked into social media and everything. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like what is about to be? Now, what I will say is we are a couple weeks away from like the inauguration and stuff like that. And I'm a bit more calmer, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So yeah, I feel like that was like another like emotional maybe downslide. Not as much, but it was definitely like it was hard. It was a hard time to like navigate. And I know some people that are like unfortunately still struggling with it because it was a lot. Like it was a lot.
And it's like, I get it. Because like this is the world we live in, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's something that you can truly shut yourself off from. Ain't like you somebody living in a cave somewhere, or you know what I mean, living on an island where you like literally existing on your own. You don't gotta worry about what other people got going on. So
Mhm.
no, it is something to have your eyes open about, to be cautious about. And it's not even about preparing, it's not even about not preparing for what hasn't happened. It's about not putting the energy into the
Mhm.
frenzy. You know what I mean? Because if that's just not what it is right now, then that energy can be allocated towards something else. A lot of
Absolutely.
times when it's like crazy stuff going on, we kind of exist in one extreme or the other, and it's not leaving room for other stuff, for the stuff that we have to do, the stuff that, then we start missing stuff
Yeah.
because we're so focused on XYZ over here that's not even directly affecting us in this moment. So my thing is, if we didn't know before the first 4 years, we definitely
Mhm.
need to know now what we need to be doing as individuals, as community, as XYZ. What should we have always been putting our energy to? You know what I mean? As far as building ourselves up as individuals, building our communities up, building um our families, and getting our money up, whatever it is, stuff we all already should have been doing. But it's like, unfortunately, as Americans, I'm not saying other people don't fall victim to this, but definitely as Americans, we have this, part of it is entitlement, but it's like we allow ourselves to be oblivious
Mhm.
and to be naive, as if we're untouchable. Like, no, that ain't
True.
never gonna happen. That can't happen over here, or XYZ. First of all, stuff has been happening in our face, not even under our nose, in our face for
Mhm.
forever. Stuff that we just kind of sweep under the rug, stuff that we say, oh, that's not my personal problem. That's
It
down the
is.
street. That's that
Mhm.
state. That's da da da. But it's like, if we ain't already doing stuff about the stuff that's already going on, how are we gonna be up in arms about all this other stuff going on? It's like, no, we've been had problems that we are not appropriately focused on. Like, we're not fighting for the stuff that's already going on that we should have been fighting for. And now people want to be all internet gangsters and saying this and saying that, but how many people are really putting the energy
behind what they're
behind
saying.
making things right, or doing whatever we got to do? So hopefully this has lit the fire under people's butts to like really
Dude,
stand on business.
yeah, and it's funny you said that. Just real quick, I was talking to somebody the other night actually at my other job, and young little guy, and he was like, well, I voted for Kamala. I voted for her. But I also feel like nothing that, Trump wants to do is going to affect me as a black young man. He said that. And I was like, for real? I said, so you don't think anything that he is trying to put in place or has done his first term, right, has any effect on you or any other black man? He was like, nah. I was like, okay. I said way more than that, but it's just that is the mindset of people. And he just kept, I did vote for her though. I voted for her.
Hold
I
up, but
mean,
you know what? Sometimes you gotta leave people exactly where they at. It's like, all right, that's what you think, good for you. Because we all have access to the same information. We can
hmm
all investigate, we can research, we can look up policies, and we can do all this stuff. All right, you want to be, once again, you want to be naive, you want to think you live in a bubble and you are just immune. All right, do you? Like, that's another thing. That's another thing for
that's a whole nother.
2024.
Yeah, what? Just
I
do
had
you?
to be like, and me and my cousin was talking about this on Christmas night. When you like people, love people, care about people, sometimes we invest way too much energy into other people than they are willing to invest in
Mm,
themselves. It's like,
mm.
no, you got to learn to gracefully detach. Like,
I went no contact last year with a couple.
hmm
It ain't easy, but you got to put yourself first. And I always say, if they wanted to, they would. The same way you make an attempt to check in on people, send people flowers, show up for them. If they wanted to do the same, they would. And my whole thing was people using certain excuses as a reason for why they did not do something. And not negating that people don't experience life or tragedy, right? Because we all do, but it's still making an attempt, you know?
Right. It has to at least be an effort.
I'm like, I'm effortless this year. Like, no, I'm not. But it just I said a prayer. I was like, hey God, it's me again. One hard prayer, a lot of people say is hard because when you pray it, it really do happen, right? Is asking God to remove certain people out your life. Like I never give a name. I say certain things and I just realize certain people fall below the waistline. My thing back in the day would be I would spin the block and like, hey, how you doing? I haven't talked to you. Now realizing like, girl, you just pray for removal of certain things and here we go. And now you bringing them back in your space. Now catch me up now to where I'm at in life now. I'm not acknowledging the fact that you ain't been there. You just ain't there. Because again, if people wanted to show up for you, maybe even in the midst of them going through something, like, you know what I'm saying? They still want to be there. And I'm not saying you got to be all in all the time. Because I'm not. Um, but I just can't do excuses and I can't do no, if you're not going to reciprocate the same thing that I'm giving, I just have to take a step away,
That's
bow out
it.
gracefully, because at the end of the day, like you said, you can be on overdrive for a person and it do more harm to you than it's doing good. And we don't need none of that. We need none of that. So
And
no more
just to
spinning
add,
the block on that.
just to add to that, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, part of it is spinning the block, but also some of the stuff you were saying. I feel like one of the things in 2024 that I really worked on, and I think we did speak about this in that last conversation. If not that one, it was one of the episodes we definitely spoke about boundaries. So I feel like I
Yes.
really have been working on and enforcing boundaries all of 2024. Like I really feel like I did a good job with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm the type of person where as if like, and it goes back to what we literally were just saying. Like I put so much energy into other people, into situations. Half the time is never reciprocated. But at the same token, it's like if I want X, Y, or Z, my equation needs to add up. So a lot of times I can admit my equation was not adding up.
Yeah.
Because your actions dictate the result. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? there's some things I gotta tighten up on. Like if I say I want XYZ, or if I at least don't want XYZ, I can't keep doing ABC. You know what I mean? So I have really tightened up on my boundaries and things of that nature. And, we'll see how that goes moving forward, or like what results I get moving forward.
You're gonna be successful. I feel like I unconsciously tighten up on my boundaries too, now that you mention it, because I can think of one very specific situation that happened a couple months ago, more recently, and I just boundaries, and I was just like, wow, girl, you really doing it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it deals with certain people that you have let your guard down with a lot, and it's just like, no, I'm not going to continue to settle for that because what am I getting from this? A heartbreak? No, we ain't going back there no more. Like stressed out? Mm-mm. Acne? Mm-mm. A bloated stomach?
Temp-
Please.
and, and it's temporary gratification.
Right.
Temporary. I
Right.
deserve long term. I
I want the
deserve permanent,
longevity.
not temporary.
Period. Because we're not hair falling out. I'm tired of cutting my hair. I gotta cut it again. But you get it's the stress. Like, but you get what I'm
Hold
saying
up. Why
though.
does this? Why does that sound like? Why does that sound like a bad medication commercial? You know what I mean? Listen to all the side effects.
Because people are bad medication. We don't need you. We don't fucking need you. But you know what? That can go for people, places, things, habits. They can go for anything. I think we
Yeah.
were very specifically referring to people, but just in general, in the general sense, like I'm tired of spending money on acne patches from stress breakouts. Like I don't no, not having that in 2025. No more spending the block on that. So with that being said, to wrap this up, now that we are in a new year, it's feeling real good around here, right? Looking real sweet, and we only a couple days in, and I love the vibe and energy, at least from myself and people that I have been in community with. Do you have any specific goals that you're going to work towards this year, or anything that you would like to see from yourself besides the boundaries in 2025?
Um, so definitely need to continue with my like financial goals and things of that nature. Like, I'm really good with setting the goals, but I'm not always the best at following through, specifically when, you just want something or you want to do something at a particular time. So it's really about that consistency and that sacrifice.
Mhm.
So just continuing to work on and enforce, what I'm trying to do financially as far as like saving and like, paying stuff off and stuff of that nature. One of my goals is always travel, always just to enjoy life in the moment. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting some trips or something under my belt. I have nothing specific planned as of yet. Besides, I guess my first trip will be back to North Carolina at the end of the month
Couple
because we are
weeks.
going to see Mary J. Blige.
Hey,
So, and that's another
North
concert.
Carolina.
So you see, there's a theme: travel and concert. That's kind of my life. Um, and you did mention it earlier. Like I'm interested in either learning a new skill or just adding something else in my belt. I feel like I am very overdue for feeding my creativity.
Right.
If you know me, I'm a very creative person. A lot of people see me more in the human service helper mode, but I'm actually a very creative person, very silly person. A lot of people don't see that side either. Um, but the point is, I need to feed all sides of myself. And I feel like I've been starving my creative side. So I do have a few ideas as far as like what I can do for the creative stuff, but like, which kind of incorporates the learning a new skill, but that can also go in different directions too. You never know what's out there as far as like, learning how to do this, learning how to do that, things that could even just bring you joy, could bring you money, you know what I mean? So
Money
I
is
am just
good.
open to it all, as I am fast approaching my 40th year of life in 2026.
Mm.
Just trying to be the best me I can be.
Okay, sis, I hear you. He sounds like all good things. And I wish you a successful year, a happy year, a prosperous, wealthy year, a lit year, be outside a little bit. Anything that's on your heart, like I said before. I Can't wait to see it manifest before your eyes this year, as it has
Thank
done
you.
before. Yes.
And not that, and just I just gotta add it because it's realistic. Not that this is like the goal specifically of the year, but it would be nice to like potentially find a man, you know.
Mm.
You
Like,
know,
no, I'm not gonna joke, girl. I'm not gonna joke. I'm not
no,
gonna joke.
I've been patient, you know. Sometimes, but sometimes it's stuff you got to do within yourself, you know what I mean, before certain things happen for you. So I get and understand that, but it's like I'm ready for a little Jessica. So you know, some things got to start rolling, but it'll happen when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, someone has recently told me that they're ready to be an auntie. So I was like, wait a minute, what? But yeah, I'm with you on that. You, like you said, things flow how they're supposed to, but I feel like when you're in the right space in your life, things really open up and flow better. Especially in a relationship, they come when you least expect it. You're not even looking and it just happened. At least that's how my last couple have been. Like, I don't know. My goals or intentions for this year. Well, my one of my main like physical goals is to run 2 5Ks. I'm actually beginning training now. My first 5K is April 27th. Um, and I'm excited for that. Because I don't know, like I've been running again, like my loosening my body up and stuff like that. And inviting people like, hey, it'd be nice to see some familiar faces at the finish line. You know what I'm saying? Like family, friends. And my mom was like, oh, I'll come running with you. And it's in Wilmington, North Carolina, and it's actually for sexual assault survivors, which I never knew that organizations and things like this exist for these purposes. So I'm excited for that one. And the other one, I think it's in June, but that's something totally different. I can't remember all the details, but that's like one of my major goals is to register and finish both of those successfully.
Mhm.
Um, Nothing really in a career aspect because I'm still new in my job, even though they're pushing me for another position. I'm just kind of like going to let it happen when I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's hard to kind of explain, but I'm happy at work. um, I'm just open for more opportunities in life. I realized that I had been closing and restricting myself to a lot of things. And I think it was just, oh, I'm in my healing era and I have my guard up but I'm like restricting fun, restricting living, and I don't want to be in that space anymore. Didn't realize how much I was really putting myself in a box. Even though I did a lot last year and I was doing things, I was still holding back. You know what I'm saying? And I know I had real specific goals last year and I've completed some, but the things that I feel like I really could have did, I didn't. Um, so I'm adding all of them back to the list for this year, you know. Definitely travel. Like I want to travel. And I know me and you talked about this before. Like I think a lot of times when people think about traveling, you always think like international or leaving the state. Like I'm in a state where I ain't never really been. And it's a lot down here. And I want to see it all. I'm not gonna probably see it all this year, but I want to do a lot. I want to drive to different areas and stay different places and do different things. I really want to make use of my time, my existence, and my PTO. Like for sure. So I just want to have fun this year. I just want to live. I don't want to exist. I'm I don't want to exist. I want to just live life. Life is supposed to be lived and fun. And yes, we're going to go through, moments of sadness or grief or just like trials and tribulations, but they're moments and they're in some instances some things are more temporary, you know. My family is dealing with something right now. Someone is sick, but we're not claiming it, right? Even though I just claimed it, but we're not fully claiming it. We're claiming full healing over this individual. And I talked to her a couple of days ago, and she's like, I just want to live my life. I just want to be happy. I want to just not be around any negativity. I want to be stress free and different things. And as she's going through what she's going through, that warmed my heart. And she's dealing with something really, really serious right now. So if she can have that mind frame and be in that space, I can too, you know? Um, so yeah, I'm just open to opportunities, open to the dating world. Like I'm officially, saying it because like Gosh, I'm stuttering because I ain't never officially. I'm blah, 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 blah. Officially open to the dating world, I guess. Like, is that what we doing? So yeah, we'll see what happens navigating these this timeline of 2025. I
Well,
think
all right.
it's gonna be a good one. So if we, stick around now, as far as like the creativity side, oh child, Chronicles of Virgo podcast, where do we go from here? I really don't know. Like, I really this was my second pop-up in the last couple months. I really don't have a date set. Like literally in a couple weeks, I will be hitting my another milestone of celebrating my 3 years of having this show. My goal is really to get over the ledge of 100 episodes because I don't have them because I structured my show a certain type of way these last few years. But that's the problem. I was too structured, too by some bases that really didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things I feel like around me at a point in time in my life was in a box. I let things be in a box. So I'm in a space right now of really like mentally revamping Chronicles of Virgo. On the good side of that, I'm still making charts in different countries. Unfortunately I just haven't posted a lot of things, and that's okay. But we'll be back for another season. I don't know when right now, but we may have one more pop up before like I officially launch season 4. Um, I think I'm just in a living space right now, and not that I mean podcast is my baby, of course, but I need to learn how to implement all of these things together and not let just that overtake everything. Because when I'm in season, it overtakes a large part of me. And I have numerous jobs right now too. By choice, like right, like by choice, rightfully so. But I'm just trying to figure out how to navigate this new life of mine. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And did I say me and Jess are open and
No.
dating? We're open and dating. Scratch his head. Don't really know. Speak for yourself, ho. But I get it. So yeah. I get it. But this was fun. This is totally different temperament level than the recap of 2023. And I'm wholeheartedly grateful for that. Haven't taken no tumbles down any more steps. Mm-mm. Yeah, 2024 was a good year. It was truly a good year. And we are literally a few days into 2025. And I don't think I've stopped smiling since. So yeah. And I
I'm
look forward to
good. So hopefully it stays that way. You know.
it will. Ain't no hopefully. It will. It better. And I look forward to seeing and rocking out with Miss Mary J. Blige in a few weeks. And of course I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks too. So do you have anything else for the
I'll
people?
say yeah. I would just close out with, you kind of started with like, the year, or how you hope everybody entered into the year. And I hope everybody entered into the year with calm. You know what I mean? Like I hope nobody entered into the year with chaos. Because sometimes that can just throw you completely off, if you just feel like it's a lot going on, you don't have control, da da da. So I hope people entered the year with some level of calm, or at least got themselves to a level of calm so that they feel that they can, you know, walk through the year just feeling like, I got this, whatever it might be, I got this, find your peace, maintain your peace, create your peace, whatever that
Literally.
might be. Um, but besides that, just want to let you know that I'm proud of you for everything that you've accomplished in 2024. And I have no doubt that 2025 you'll, take it to another level.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure there are so many other things I could have mentioned and I didn't. But what was on my heart, the main one stood out that we talked about. So thank you for being a part of this conversation. It's always a joyful moment when we link, whether it's in person or virtually. Um, like I said, yes, I hope and pray everyone entered this year in a good space. And if you didn't, just know that it's just a moment. let or allow it to be a moment, meaning it does not have to it doesn't have to hinder you for the rest of this week, for the rest of the month, for the rest of this winter season. It's just a moment. And that's not me downplaying anybody's experience or any trials or tribulations anyone may be going through at the time, but just really try to focus on not giving, so much of yourself to things that may not be in your control. Cause that's something that I really learned last year. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about people, when you're dealing with people, people want people, you know? So just put yourself at the top of that pedestal and focus on yourself. And of course, like your loved ones, if you are responsible for someone, but definitely set some good intentions for yourself and watch some things flourish right before you and keep the faith. Like you have to have the faith of the mustard seed, you know? And that's a mustard seed is very, very small. So I really hope everyone, if you didn't start the year off, because I know I've seen some things on social media, a very few um people that may not have started the year off the best, but it's okay. It'll get better. It always does. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. And if you don't stick it out, you'll never know how amazing things could get for you. Because all I could think about is last summer feeling like crap, sitting on the bleachers crying to Jess because I wanted to end it all. And if I had ended it all, not this was the summer before last, 2023. If I had ended it all, I would never have gotten to see how wonderful my life would have been flourishing now before my eyes. And don't get it twisted. I don't have it all, right? I don't have it all, but I have enough. And it's within me. And that's the joy that I needed. That's the peace that I desired. And I have it. And everything else has just been coming like kind of like second nature, you know? So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. And Jess, you keep up the good work. Keep being the amazing sister, friend, niece, everything that you are to everyone else, the confidant for many of us, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't know how appreciated and loved you are, I'm speaking on behalf of the congregation. Okay. You are so loved and appreciated. And I hope that this year people really pour into you and show you the love that you give them, including myself.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that and I receive that. And I love you too.
Yes. And when you come down here, I'm going to hug on you. I don't care. I don't care. I'm warning you now. And yes, I'm still that touchy feely person. Maybe just not maybe a little bit more than I was, but yes, that is me. But thank you guys for joining us for our recap of 2024. Again, if you're following me on social media, that would be the best place to know when the next season is going to launch or when the next pop up. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I don't know the fate of TikTok right now, but the page is still there. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Chronicles of a Virgo podcast, even Twitter. I'm in and out of there sometime. Chronicles of a Virgo podcast. On YouTube, Chronicles of a Virgo podcast. You have a lot of episodes from the past seasons that you can go listen to as well as watch. And I'm on all of your streaming sites. Apple, Amazon, Spotify. I feel like I'm a little rusty. I'm everywhere. Your girl's everywhere. And I've also done a few episodes with other podcasts within these last couple months. The most recent one was the John A podcast. Shout out to my lovely sisters over there. That was a good conversation. One of my favorite conversations. I never like put them in categories, but that one talking about like therapy, my experience and where I'm at now, so good, so much growth. So definitely go check them out. And also the Things About Us podcast. I did an episode with them back in November after the election. Like it was a quick one, but it was a good one. It was a good one. So shout out to all of you podcasters. Shout out to Unfiltered Studios, my network that I'm a part of. I'll put all these lovely links in the description. Um, yeah. So hope you guys stay tuned this far, and we are out.